Good day. This is Wisdom Wednesday number 23. And today we're going to talk about choose the pain-free conclusion. The questioner says, I am troubled about an interaction I had with a family member. They refused to talk to me for 3 months now. My mind is going nuts because I don't know what I said that triggered their silence. They will not tell me, and I am tortured by their silence. I am thinking I must have hurt them or angered them, and I feel guilty, but I'm not sure why I feel guilty. How do I feel better about this? Well, I don't think you're the first person who's experienced this kind of thing with family members. This happens a lot. I hear about it a lot. So I'm going to say that you are living in your mind with many, many thoughts, all kinds of thoughts. And some thoughts can uplift you, and some thoughts can bring you down. So you have to make a decision about your internal world, about how you want to live, how you want to have your experience inside of your mind. So the fact is, it doesn't really matter about the truth of what they're feeling, they're thinking, or what they're concluding. It doesn't really matter. What's more important is your internal truth. What is more important is your internal world. So whether you're thinking that you did something bad or wrong, what's more important right now is that you're feeling good. So, the thing is, when you have lots of thoughts, you have to choose the thought that will make you feel better. And thoughts, the types of thoughts you create, will make you feel better. So, in yoga philosophy, there's a categorization of the millions of thoughts that we have, and those thoughts are called vrittis, V-R-I-T-T-I-S, and there are 5 categories. So I'm going to divide them so you can understand, to see what type of thoughts apply to this particular situation you're in. So the first type of thought is the thought that is correct. It's like we all agree upon something that happened. Like, say for instance, here's my hand going across the video. Both you and I can say Miranda's hand went across the video. It's a correct thought. That did happen. We both agree upon it. So that's called a correct thinking. Something happened and we both agree that it happened. Then there is a mistaken thought. Like, say for instance, we both look up in the sky and you see an airplane and I see a bird. We're looking at the same thing, but one of us is seeing it incorrectly. And then we'll find out later that maybe it was an airplane. And I didn't see it correctly. So that's a mistaken perception of something. So there's lots of thoughts in that category. The third category is the category of imagination, where you are construing something based upon something you read or that you heard through your ears. And you're making something up. Now, this may be the category that your mind is going crazy with. So you're making up stuff that perhaps you heard, and you're using your imagination, and you're creating a lot of pain and suffering as a result of that. The other 2 categories is one is to do with a thought that carries a sense of nothing, that nothing is happening, that the details of the thought is that there's nothing, as in sleep or deep sleep. And the last category is the category of memories, that there's a lot of vrittis or thoughts in our mind based on memories and past experiences. And they come up, and then you can even mix some of these. You can have a memory and then have your imagination with a memory. And so all of these categories can be all mixed up, and then that multiplies the numbers of thoughts that you have in your head. And the thing is, it's more important that you have less thoughts. That's what we want. The less thought you have, the more space you have in your mind. And it's a better environment to live in because it's more blissful. The less waves and thoughts you have, the more bliss that you experience. So, again, we're going to come back to the point that you are the safety guard of your internal experience. You are responsible for choosing the thoughts that will create that light and joy in your internal experience. So it doesn't matter whether your thinking is correct or mistaken, or that you construed it through your imagination. It doesn't matter if it's a memory or if it's a nothing state. You are responsible for staying happy. So even if, let's say, I'm imagining that you concluded incorrectly and that you made something up. But let's just say that you're concluding that, or something you did say or do in that interaction may have hurt them. Let's say that did happen. You are still responsible for creating an uplifted state in your mind. Because if you go into a dark, heavy, depressed state based upon thinking that you're guilty and now you have shame and you're carrying that around, you have no idea what that person is thinking, and you should give them the choice to have that space to work that out on their own. They're processing something. Maybe they did get hurt. And you should just choose to think that they're going to be responsible for how they feel, in the same way that you have to be responsible for how you feel. You're not responsible for their internal world. So they're concluding however they want to. But if they choose to conclude negatively against you, remember that they're the one choosing pain for their internal world. That's an important point. So choose to think that they're working on themselves, and that's why they need the time, and you are taking the time to work on yourself. So get clear about whose responsibility is what. Now, the last thing I'll say is this. When your space is full of joy and very clear about you taking care of your internal world, then and only then will you be able to give an apology. Let's say they came up to you and said, yeah, well, during that interaction, I felt bad when you said this thing. Then you can listen to what they've said, and then you can make a judgment. Are they blaming me? Are they creating more pain for themselves by projecting the pain onto me? So you have to be really clear about that. And then if you can say inside of yourself, yeah, I honestly think that I did do that and I should not have done that, and you feel appropriately that, yeah, I can say that I'm sorry, I did do that, I'll take responsibility for that part. Then you will be able to stay in a high state, a blessed state. You can make a very clear apology without bringing yourself down and going into a dark state. And then that will be that would be called appropriate. Otherwise, you must always choose the pain-free conclusion. When you don't know something, stay high, stay clear, and continue to love yourself. And then when the interaction comes back again and you have an opportunity to reassess the situation, then you're in a state where you can make an apology if it's appropriate. All right. Thank you. And see you next Wednesday. Bye.